The last time we had you on, we talked about the ACE Act, Americans' Confidence in Elections, and you announced it in Atlanta, Georgia, because Georgia is one of these hotbeds as far as election integrity, and obviously they worked hard to try to shore up to make it easier to vote but harder to cheat. But now I think it's almost a double entendre in Atlanta, because now we're looking at something that could, a lot of people view it as election interference with President Trump's indictment down there. But I think it's important to highlight some of the best parts of the ACE Act.
This is why the ACE Act is so absolutely essential. And we rolled it out in Georgia to point out the hypocrisy of the left, the lies of the left that they made about other voter integrity bills. Our election integrity bill, House Republicans that we've put forward, has three key principles. Number one, it provides states the tools that they need to be able to maintain and improve voter integrity in their states. Let me give you an example. Individual maybe from Wisconsin, resident voter in Wisconsin, goes to a state like Florida, might pass away. Florida doesn't have a federal obligation to inform Wisconsin that a resident has died. They do have an obligation to inform the Social Security Administration. So the Social Security Administration has the ultimate voter or ultimate American death database. We give states the opportunity to tap into that so they can maintain clean voter rolls. When's a good time to remove someone from the voter rolls? When they die.
Right.
And so these are common sense reforms. We also clean up Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is one of the worst states or cities as it relates to voter integrity. They don't have photo ID. They don't do a good job cleaning up their voter rolls, and they allow non-citizens to vote. What that means, just to clarify that for everyone, in Washington, D.C., under current law, next year, a Russian national working at the Russian embassy, living in Washington, D.C. for only 30 days, could leave work at the embassy, walk to a polling location, and vote for mayor in our nation's capital next year. My bill ends that and says American elections should be for American citizens. And the third pillar of what the ACE Act does is it protects Americans' First Amendment rights and prevents foreign interference. Give you an example on that. We've identified a loophole that liberal foreign billionaires are using to pour money into U.S. elections. They do that by taking money, putting in a 501c4 tax-exempt entity, slush that money around, move it from there to a super PAC, and have the super PAC run political ads about U.S. elections. We're saying we want to end foreign interference. We're going to close this loophole. These things are necessary, they're important, and I think the American people support them. And I'm hopeful that we're going to have this bill on the House floor for a vote yet this year.
You use the word common sense, and I think when you go out into the real world, they've seen so much silliness over the last 5 or 10 years. They just want common sense solution. Almost everything that you mentioned today in the bill today has 70–80% approval. When you poll it, how do Republicans get Democrats to engage on this? Because the Democrats are on the really short side of all this polling. How do you get those votes to come across and make this reality?
Well, this is why shows like yours is so important, because the mainstream legacy media refuses to talk about these issues, and it's all the more reason that I'm out there talking to folks about it. Because when you talk to regular folks and tell them, do you think you should show a photo ID in order to vote, they all say yes. Because the same people are showing a photo ID to get on an airplane, to buy a 6-pack of beer, or to open a bank account. And so these are common sense reforms that we need to talk about more, and if we do that, voters are going to go to their Democratic members of Congress or Democratic senators and say, you got to get on board and get this fixed.